Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. We're in the emergency storage shed and we've got this week's episode. We're going to create quite a bit of space fairly quickly, I hope. We've got a console radio case up here and we've got another complete console radio down here. We're going to work out what to do with them. I'm not going to keep them for projects. I've got enough projects to see me through until about my early 800s. So we'll get those out, we'll decide what to do with them, we'll see if we can work out what price to sell them at, how to sell them, how much work involved to get them to saleable, to a comfortable saleable position. I mean, I could just flip them like they are, but with a bit of a clean-up we'll do better. The last episode, we got that TV out of here. Now, a bit of news to report on that, and thanks to a few of you for some constructive comments. Thank you especially to Steve from Steve's Electronic Repair Shop. He always helps with some technical knowledge. And I mucked around with the antenna setup on the back. Apparently it has two separate tuners, one for VHF, one for UHF. The little connector thing wasn't connected properly to the UHF terminals. Once I hooked that up, had a video playing. Here's a picture of a much better signal. Not perfect, but certainly much better. So I'm going to take that one to the shop and put it in the shop probably next weekend. I'll be away this weekend. And I might even have a video player playing through it. I reckon I'm going to try $100 on it. Apparently it was a JVC circa 1978, but it was rebadged HMV. So thanks, Steve, and thanks for some other constructive comments. I always love reading all the comments. I read every one of them. I still try to reply to every comment at this stage. It's going to get to a stage where I'm not going to be able to, but I like to try because you guys go to the effort of making a comment. Right, today, I think I'll get the one off the top first. And I'll put a blanket on the one at the bottom just so it saves my shoulders. I can then sort of gradually lower it down. I don't expect it to be super heavy, but you know, in my aging years, I've got to look after my joints. Okay, work smarter, not harder, isn't that the thing? So I don't like to lift so much anymore with my shoulders. I like to let gravity help and just guide them to the ground in a controlled manner, in theory. And we've protected the old scratched up console radio from getting any more scratched up. It's probably unlikely, but you know, it's good habits. All right, this one's fairly light because there's nothing in it. It's quite a nice cabinet. It has a little bezel there for the tuning. It's a Stromberg Carlson, nice little shield on top. I'll give you a closer look at that soon. Nice speaker grill, the cloth's had it, very Art Deco. So we'll get that out, up on the deck perhaps, and have a better look at it. The other one, I think, let's turn that around. Actually, we'll move this one back. Incidentally, this is an electric blanket that I got in the e-waste. Chopped the cords off, really good packing. Good dog blankets too, so they don't have to go to e-waste, they're useful. All right, this one is a Healing. This one, similar era, similar Art Deco plywood design. They're a big piece of furniture just for a radio. And there you can see very similar proportions, quite elaborate speaker grills. Obviously the cloth in the front one's a bit better than the back one. There's a big remains of a wasp's nest there, or really just a stain from it. So this one is a Healing radio, and you can see the tuning dial behind the cobwebs there. And it's got the original knobs, not sure, probably those two match, possibly. Looks like it's got some droppings from possums or something down the front of it, and on the top it's got a lot of gunk up here. The timber's really not very good. In fact, the plies are starting to ripple. It's been damp at some stage. I think that was before it was here. The other one, as you can see, has a nice little shield on the top. Stromberg Carlson, and the radio has been removed. All right, what are we going to do? Well, I think it's just going to be a basic clean of the case so they present a bit better. I'll take them up to the deck. I'm not going to do restorations. Even when my workshop's fully set up, I don't think I'll worry too much about these sort of things, because even in excellent condition, they're a hard sell. People have never really collected the console radios on the whole because they're so large and bulky. It's always been the case that the small mantle radios have been much more popular and consequently command much higher prices than these big old clunky things. But they're pretty cool, and they do really look the part when they're going, and they have an awesome sound because usually they have quite a large speaker in the bottom. So we'll clean these up and maybe someone will restore them down the track. With those radios gone, have a look at how much space is opened up in here. And we can get to a whole pile of interesting boxes, an old multicoloured cabinet, and we see more of this large mangle. I think they're the bolts and the other brackets underneath, so we might be able to assemble that soon. This looks like a really early, I don't know, early in computer terms, maybe some sort of business computer. It says Boca on it, unless it's a UPS, I don't remember. Don't know what's in the box underneath it, don't know what's in that crate. I have a suspicion in this cupboard there's a lot of old car manuals that came from a garage in town that years ago had a fire, and the manuals were a bit charred on the edges. And that's one of the reasons I purchased ages ago this large guillotine. I was going to neaten them all up, you know, good plans, and never ever happened, so we might still do that. What do you think, Coco? More space. So it's getting pretty interesting. Not that it ever wasn't interesting in my books. We have lots of cardboard boxes here. That one's got things wrapped up in paper. That's an actual box for an AWA portable television, but I'm pretty sure it's just the box. Still, the box itself might have some value to someone. Don't know what's in it. That's an army plastic tub. I've got a few of those for storage, but I don't know what's in that one. Don't know what's in that one. I don't think it's glass, but you never know. More stuff wrapped up in paper. The anticipation of getting into these boxes is really growing. That looks like china. A little teacup or something. Hopefully that's not too much weight on it. A nice timber box, could have old workshop tools. So the intrigue continues. There's paintings and prints up the top. And once we get a bit of space in here, I do want to assemble that mangle and get it out of here. Free up some wall space, and then maybe get the lathe in here. That'll be a challenge. So I've managed to lug these big beasts up onto the deck. We get a much better view of them here. The light's a bit better. You can see that they're in dire need of major restoration. The plywood isn't the best. It's not just the finish. There's areas of ply that's lifted a bit. This one's probably not too bad. And even though a wipe over with methylated spirits, I think you guys in the US call it denatured alcohol, and very fine steel wool would actually bring it up pretty good, because this is a shellac finish and the alcohol will actually dissolve it a bit, so it'll smooth it off. If you keep rubbing, it'll actually take it back to the bare ply. But you can see there's some ripples in it, so you're not going to get rid of that. And I'm not sure what this gunk is on top, but I think it's going to be reward for effort wise. It's going to be too much trouble. There's some chips off the legs on both of them, I think. This one's not too bad. And if we look in the back of them, I'll spin them around. This one's pretty sturdy, but you can see it's had some wasps' nests in there as well as spiders, of course. But the basic bones of this cabinet would probably clean up okay. This one, however, has more issues. The radio is in it, but it's very rusty. It's probably had mice through it over the years. It's been in a shed for a long time. It's obviously had some water through it because it's actually gone rotten in that corner. Probably just the bottom sheet of ply. Big old speaker, but don't know there's much paper left in it. And it was a battery radio, and it's still got some batteries hanging here, so we'll take them off. But these ones didn't run off the mains because back in the day most, especially rural properties, had their own generators, didn't have mains power, and these things just ran off batteries. But that radio chassis is a mess. I don't think even David Tipton would take that one on. So what are we going to do? There's wasps' nests up underneath too. So I'm going to sell them as they are. I just figured for an hour mucking around trying to clean them up a bit to look a little bit better on the outside, I'm not going to get that much more return. I think people looking for these old things, especially if they want a major restoration project, kind of like seeing them shed fresh, you know, complete with cobwebs and all their the rubbish they've accumulated from being in sheds all the time. I'm not even sure what that is. I think it's part of the battery. It was in a little paper type casing. So I'm going to sell them exactly as is. I think I'll ask $50 for this one. And I think this cabinet, which someone might turn into something else, or maybe even put a modern radio in the back of it. The case would clean up better on that one. We might just ask $20 for that. I'll move them on, and I save a bit of time at the moment when I don't have much spare time, and we create a lot of space in the emergency storage shed, and someone will get some projects. So here's the notepad for this week, and we didn't even show it last week. So the HMV TV, which is in fact a JVC, I think, we said 50. Since I've got it working much better, I'm going to try 100 in the shop. I'll have it running. I'll put some videos through it. It seems to run beautifully, and it cleaned up so well. We may not get 100 for it. I'm going to leave 50 as the figure that I'll add to our total, but we have a chance. You know, if someone says, will you take 80? I'll say, absolutely, let me help you carry one end. This week, 2 console radios. I listed them on Facebook yesterday. I went 50 on the complete one, which is a battery radio, and they're nowhere near as popular as the mains radios because they have a vibrator that turns 12 volts into an AC voltage that then can be upped via a transformer to run the valves. More complicated, I guess, and most people don't seem to want them. So I went 50 for the pair. So I may drop the complete one to, say, 30 and leave the other at 20. I might put them in the shop the next weekend. I'm home, I won't be here this weekend. So we'll write down 50. Hopefully we've got a chance of getting that for the pair of them. So just a short video this week because I'm pretty short on time. I am going away tomorrow, being Friday. I'm going to the Victorian Table Tennis Country Championships for 3 days. Yes, I'm leaving Christine alone. She's doing very well at the moment, and she insisted that I go, which is kind of nice. It's the best weekend of the year for table tennis. I love it. And but I wasn't prepared. I wasn't planning to go. I wanted to be here for Christine, but the last couple of weeks she's been doing pretty good, other than some heart issues. But you know, we're reporting on all that on her channel. So if you want to follow how her health journey is going with breast cancer, join Christine's Health Affairs. I'll put a link underneath. But other than some minor heart issues, which we think we have sorted out now, her treatment's going pretty well. So her mum's coming up to look after her. And my daughters live nearby, and my mum is just up the street. So she's in good hands, and I think she just needs a bit of space from me. Maybe she's saying, please go, please go. Whereas most other wives around the world would be probably saying, you go off to a sports tournament while I'm crook? How dare you? So anyway, it is what it is. I'm pleased to be able to go. I will be talking to her regularly on the phone, and I'm sure she'll have lots of support around here. So with that all said, I was short on time, so a quicker video this week, but wow, did we make some space in that room. Hopefully those console radios go quickly. I will take them to the shop next weekend if they haven't sold through Facebook. Last few episodes with the jewellery, I won't report on the sales because it's still a bit disorganised. I do have a buyer for quite a lot of the lower end pieces. Gail makes jewellery from parts and that sort of stuff, so she's happy to take quite a lot of it. And I haven't got some of the other stuff in the shop. You may remember that cast aluminium tree. I've actually put that in the shop, and I'm using it to hang necklaces on, so that works really well too. But we just haven't had the days in the shop to sell it. So I'll report on that down the track. I'm happy with how things are going. We are making a good return. We're not far short of $20,000 now out of that shed. And we're making a lot of space. It's good to get those TVs and console radios out there. We'll be delving into those interesting boxes and assembling that mangle pretty soon. So hang around. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.